Hey, this is Kristin.
And this is Aaron. And this is the Drive Mode Show. I almost paused too long there, huh?
A little bit. Hey,
Slacking on the jaw.
today, Aaron, let's talk about the 2020 Chevrolet Silverado.
Silverado!
Like a rock.
See, and I was gonna go straight to Desperado. Silverado.
I just had a 2020 Chevy Silverado double cab turbo diesel for the last week, and I liked it a lot better than the 2019.
Nice. It's been a few months, but I drove that right behind me there. So that's the Silverado 2500, also with a diesel, big beast of a truck.
Indeed.
So I also really did like it. In fact, I liked it enough that I would say that it's really difficult to choose between that Chevy model and the GMC that sits above it in the product line.
I agree, and I really like the GMC Sierra as well. And I think what they've done with 15 camera angles and the towing options is really good. It really sets them apart.
Mm-hmm. I like the Sierra's interior a lot because of the.
Me too.
It's still kind of old school, still a little bit blocky and squared and all of that, but not like in your face. Here's your truck, kind of a thing. Whereas Chevy
Well, I think it's a good combination of comfort,
Right.
luxurious type of feeling, but not super luxury, because you want it to. Most people that buy trucks, they want it to feel like a truck and not like a luxury car, right?
And then with Chevy, they went kind of the other way. It's a little more kind of comfortable in terms of the way it feels. So you're just looking around it. It's more comfortable to look at because it just has a more I don't know. It's a less blocky, trucky thing and more kind of maybe refined car in a way. So it feels more like an SUV to sit in that Chevy than it does in the GMC.
I think they've done a good job making some updates to the Silverado. It feels really nice to drive. I drove it from Austin to Dallas, which is about 3 hours, and it was super comfortable. I didn't have any kind of back fatigue, and the lumbar support's very good. What I really liked about this one, the one that I had a premium audio system, because of course it did. It had the Bose premium package. And on top of that, I think their audio controls are excellent. I was surprised to find it had, just like SCA's controls that I like a lot. It has the volume on the back of the steering wheel, and then it allows you to change from favorite to favorite. It does a little bit different in that on the steering wheel, it has a little rotating wheel that you can change station to station. So I could go channels 10, 11, 12, and not have to reach over and use the knobs. But it also has the knobs, which I think are also important. It has some nice knobby knobs that are easy to turn. Even if you had work gloves on, you could turn these knobs and you can use your audio system to its full potential.
And that last point that you made is really important. A lot of people don't think about that, but when you get into a truck, there's an expectation that controls and things are going to be slightly bigger, right? They're going to be more visceral. They're going to be larger, easier to grip and stuff. And that's because people who use their trucks, they're going to be maybe getting in right after they have just spent the last 5 minutes hooking up a trailer and now their hands are cold. You still want to be able to feel the knob, right? You want to be able to grab it and do your thing. Or maybe you're wearing gloves because you've been out doing something, working, loading the bed or something, and you want to, with those gloves on, you want to be able to change the radio or turn it down because maybe you just got a phone call.
Right.
You want to be able to do those things, and it's something that one truck maker overlooked to their own detriment. A new entry to the market, which was part of their problem. But yeah, it's those little things with pickup trucks that we really don't think about until we see them not done well, and then it immediately comes to mind.
Yeah, I think some people question, do I really need a pickup truck, or do people really need a pickup truck if they're not using it for work? And I say yes, and there's a couple reasons why. one, if you want to haul anything, if you want to move, if you want to help somebody move, like it's a great community type of truck to be able to help your neighbors. But also, I like that we could throw our bikes in the back. It's got 12 tie down points in the bed, the truck, and we put 4 bikes in the back and took it to the park.
One of the things, when I drove the GMC Sierra, it had the Carbon Pro bed, and
Right.
that bed is designed to accept motorcycles. So there are literally little divots in the front for 2 dirt bikes, or right in the middle, a larger one for a street bike. And then the way the Multi-Pro tailgate is designed, you can drop the tailgate, lower the middle part, pull, put your ramp on and pull the bike in, and then the top flip up on that middle part comes up, you close it, and that becomes a tire stop for the average length of a dirt bike or a street bike. And little things like that get thought of because that's who the consumer is. So, with the packages that Carbon Pro bed is, that's what they thought of. That's who's going to be using it. And just other things that you see with, the steps to get in and out of trucks. Chevy and GMC, they have the integrated bed step that's on the bumper. So it's just a notch out of the bumper. You put your foot in it and step in.
Yep.
Don't have to deploy anything, don't have to pull anything out, don't have to do anything. It's always there. And it's on both sides.
I think that's smart. I enjoyed that.
And then ride quality's improved. Did you notice that? Because you spent a lot more time on the freeway than I did with yours. Ride quality seems to be really good in this new generation of Chevy and GMC.
I definitely noticed that too. I noticed a big difference in the dry quality, and I thought that it had great pickup. Now, this is the 3-liter
Great pickup.
diesel engine, the Duramax diesel, and I felt it got up to speed very quickly, and it maintained speed very easily. It didn't have adaptive cruise control, which I was a little bit surprised about, but it had cruise control, and it works great.
Okay. I had adaptive cruise in the GMC, but I did not have it in that 2500. So I would have to look at the specs, but it may be that you can't get it in the Chevy models. I don't know. I'd have to look. I also noticed that a downer is the diesels are very loud. They're not terrible when you're sitting in the truck and you're just at idle somewhere. But they get very loud very fast, and from outside the truck, even at idle, it's still pretty loud. And I'm comparing that to the ginormous diesel that's in the Ram 3500 or the 3-liter diesel that's in the Ram 1500. Those are very quiet by comparison.
I did notice the road noise a little bit more in the Silverado, and I drove it back to back with a 2020 Nissan Titan. And I thought the Titan did a little bit better job on the cabin quietness.
Mm-hmm. So, it's truck makers. It's funny because people are like, what's the best truck? Most of the time when they ask that, they've already got one in mind. So there's brand loyal to somebody.
Right.
But it's very, very difficult to pick what is the best truck because just like cars, SUVs, whatever, it really depends on what you're going to do with it. So if you spend a lot of time driving on the road empty, so maybe you're commuting or hauling your family around or something, but you have no load in the bed, you have no trailer on it, whatever, that's a different truck than one where you're going to be hauling, sheetrock or I don't know, iron, something,
furniture,
whatever it is.
yeah, anything.
Where you're going to be loading the thing, and then also it's very different from one that you're going to be towing with. And then the towing gets broken down because some of them are better with bumper pull versus, say, fifth wheel. Some of them are better with gooseneck versus whatever. So it's really kind of an open game there. And then there's a lot of differences between, say, the half-ton model versus the 3/4 ton versus the 1 ton. So it's a fun market because it's such a huge market in this country. But
huge market, yeah. And I'm in Texas, and you're in Wyoming. I mean, big truck markets. And I was in Minneapolis at the National Truck Summit last week, And I think it's something crazy. Like 80% of the purchases are trucks. It's a huge truck market, and
Yeah.
people use them for all kinds of reasons. I think too, if you're a woman of average size, I'm 5'5". I found it easy to get in and out of the Silverado, although I probably could have used a step to get in a little bit easier. But I was comfortable sitting inside of it. I was comfortable reaching all the controls. It has a huge console in the middle. I could stick my purse right in there. It would easily fit a laptop, tablet, and people in the back seat were also very comfortable. My son loved it. He thought it was quote unquote epic. The 10-year-old says epic.
Epic. Hashtag. One of the things I noticed that most people will notice now if they go and look at a full-size pickup truck, definitely Chevy's included, is that when you get the crew cab version of that truck, it's more space than a full-size sedan, and that's even counting the largest of the full-size sedans like the Chrysler 300 and the Dodge Charger. You know, these massive cars. You still get more room in that pickup truck, plus the cargo option. So that's a reason that people are moving. And then fuel economy is no longer really an issue for most people. First because of price of gas, of course, but also because these trucks are easily capable of well over 20 miles a gallon, no matter what package you're getting them in. And some of them are in the 25, 28, and even almost 30 at this point.
So you're right. The Silverado that I just had a combined rating of 27 miles per gallon for a truck, which I think is outstanding compared to the car that I have this week as a press loan. That gets 33, and it's much smaller. So you're right. The difference in MPG is not a huge factor anymore. But yeah, I enjoy the Chevy Silverado. I applaud them for making some great improvements, and I look forward to seeing what's next.
Nice. All right, this has been Aaron.
This has been Kristin.
Subscribe to the Drive Mode Show.
And thanks for watching.